things we're working on are gonna change the world.
Resident Evil really defined a genre. And I just remember thinking, like, this is something new. This is something I haven't seen before. The survival horror element.
The best thing about this show is that you just did not know what was coming.
We have tons of people who know everything about Resident Evil and the Resident Evil lore, but we really want to open it up to new audiences. It's a new take on a franchise, but it's also its own thing.
So there's just a huge cupboard to pull from. Like, we sat down and we're like, well, what can we put into the show? And just the options were, in some ways, overwhelming.
I'm playing Albert Wesker, who's ostensibly the greatest scientist in the world, at least the greatest biochemist. He's a loving father who's just working for this big company and, trying to do the best job that he can. For a show that is so action-driven, you care just as much about the characters as you do the scares.
I mean, the writers have done such an amazing job of kind of incorporating this very delicate tapestry of the franchise, but kind of presented it in a way which is so new and refreshing and scary.
It talks about human nature in a way that I don't think we've seen before.
The story of Resident Evil was fascinating. You got invested in these characters. Great story will pull in an audience, but great characters will keep them coming back.
Let's have some fun.
Jade, first and foremost, is a family woman. She will put herself in harm's way to try and make the world a better place for her daughter.
I love playing Billy. She's always trying to keep her anger in check, and she's extremely passionate. And that passion, it can get her into trouble.
Evelyn is the daughter of one of the founders of Umbrella Corporation. We jump from past and future, so we get to see how it all started, and also how the characters develop.
It's in the future where the world's kind of going to hell, and it's overrun. It's much more about surviving and about trying to find a cure. In the past, I have 2 daughters, and you see that he's willing to do anything to keep them safe. I could fix this, but it stays between us.
I've never played a character that's through the past and the present. It was super important for me and Ella to sort of have this conversation and, be on the same page about it, sort of channeling old Jade through young Jade, whether she's more introverted in a scene or if she's dealing with trauma, so she's more like her older self.
That kind of narrowing of what happened between those 2 timelines is something that's so exciting.
We were finding ways every single day to put in homages, and it'll be fun to watch the fans track those. Things like the triple barrel shotgun, the special plants that give people life. We have a certain logo on a certain skateboard that people will recognize.
We have a lot of love for these stories and these people, and some of that is executing characters and creatures everyone knows.
There's so many monsters.
The most challenging part is just making sure that it not only looks scary, but it looks realistic.
The thing that is kind of my defining memory of Resident Evil, the Doberman coming through the glass. And that moment, that kept me up at night. It's one of the things we kind of reference in the first episode.
My favorite creature was definitely the lickers.
And that was terrifying.
And then we have some new creatures that we've brought in, but we've kind of seen to some degree in the games. It's very much a visual effects show.
I think there's so much exciting stuff to come.
It has a lot of twists like you don't expect.
It's such a rich storyline.
This is going to be awesome.
Well, you're going to get some amazing VFX sequences and some great scares and some really great action. But I don't know that everybody's prepared for what they're going to see with these great characters.